Stratos here, yet with the same intro that I completely despise. I will fix it when I actually find something that can be attractive, visually pleasing, and not completely cringe. So anyway, the video today is going to be about the first month of real focus. The first month that I actually put myself in the fire. I actually stopped completely distracting myself with daily pleasures and anything to really dive into that business kind of mindset and try to land some clients, make money, actually money. And this is going to be about how that has been going so far in terms of experience, total meetings, and the potential clients that are on my list who are hot, like hot leads that may actually buy. So let's start from the beginning. It has been around less than a month, like something like 25 days or something. And the process by which I operated is I first found the niches that I wanted to outreach to. I focused on local businesses, trying to really find pain points that I could fix with a digital marketing agency. Through that, I actually started collecting prospects through Google. Like, it was so simple, just Googling the set niche that I decided and just putting them on a list. I went in Google Sheets, which is something like Excel. I just collected the name of the prospect and the email address so that I can actually contact them. Now, in the beginning, I actually started collecting the whole social media and websites and anything, but I decided that it wasn't really necessary if I hadn't gotten a reply from them on the email that they were interested. So it was kind of a waste of time. So I just stopped doing it. Now, the way by which this worked is that I had been collecting prospects on my list every day, and I had the sequence which I followed daily. It was collecting 10 prospects, emailing 10 prospects, and following up with the prospects that I had emailed the days before. Now, the follow-up actually worked like this. The first follow-up was 2 days after the initial approach. The second follow-up was 2 days after the first follow-up. The third follow-up was 3 days after the first follow-up. And the fourth follow-up was 4 days after the third follow-up. After that, I just had so many people already in my list that I didn't see any point in continuing to follow up because they wouldn't reply, whatever. Right now, after about a month of just going at it with all my force, emailing every day, following up and all that, I actually have paused emailing, so the actual outreach to new clients, because I have quite a few hot leads on the line right now, and I worry that if I continue to outreach, I will get too many people interested and actually wanting to work with me, and I won't be able to service them. So right now I have around 7, I believe it is, I don't remember the exact number, 7 or 8 that are pretty interested from what I can understand at least. And I have been on the phone with all of them. I will get into details in a bit. But before getting into that, just saying, I have received tons of emails, mostly negative, because that's the whole nature of business, I guess. You can't get to the yeses without the no's, obviously. Most of my replies have been a no, but many, as I mentioned, have been a yes, more than the clients that I just mentioned, the hot leads. I have actually received, I'd say a ballpark figure of how many I have received is 15 or 20. And I got on the phone with all of them and pretty much concluded that they don't want to work with me for their own reasons. It's not something personal, right? And I lost them, basically. I moved on, and as you can see, I'm doing pretty well right now. I can't tell you exactly the leads I told you before because I don't remember them and I don't have a list right now, but I remember the 5 of them that are actually the hottest and that I know if I play it right, I can close them and actually make a profit out of it, which will be completely insane. So It's 2 lawyers, 1 Pilates instructor, 1 real estate broker, and the psychologist. Now, from those 5, the absolute flaming hot blazing lead is the psychologist, the last one. And actually, with him, I have a meeting on Sunday, which is tomorrow. Meeting up close, of course, and because we have talked quite a lot from the phone, it's going to be a sales meeting, so I have to either close him or lose him, which are equally possible at this point. Now, the psychologist actually was one of the more initial prospects that I contacted, so I didn't really have in mind my plan of action, but for the rest of them, the other 4, I implemented a technique that I thought would be helpful, which was a document which would explain to them step by step how this is going to work, the cost of everything, and the guarantees that I offer with every partnership. And how I did it was I sent them the email, the initial one, the outreach, and they replied. They were interested. They said, give me more info on it. And I just replied that I will call them on a certain day in a certain time frame. I called them, which was quite the experience for me, actually. I will get into that. I called them and I told them like, listen, we use effective marketing to do this and this and this, that's the matter. And I didn't really get into details because that was not the point of the call. The point of the call was to actually get info from them, to qualify them for myself, to actually be able to get the necessary details from them to tailor my approach to how I'm going to work with them and sell them. It would be helpful for me to actually tailor my pitch to have more possibilities of closing them. And so at the end of the call, obviously they were not really ready to make a decision. That's completely understandable. So I ended up saying, I have a document I have made, which I hadn't made, I had to make it. And it was about having all the steps and the cost and anything that how the whole partnership is going to actually operate. And I sent them that and just waited for a reply. Now that has been quite recent, so from those documents that I have sent out, I haven't received any replies yet, even though I called them just yesterday to confirm, and each one of them hadn't had the time to actually read them, which is quite interesting. I don't know if they're just not completely into it or if they're messing with me. I don't know yet. But to the psychologist, I haven't sent that document because he agreed immediately to work with me, basically. He agreed to talk about it, right? And I scheduled the meeting for tomorrow. Now, today I actually sat down and kind of researched a little more deeply the niche of the psychologist to better understand how they work, how they operate, and be able to tailor my pitch better for him. I also, of course, researched him to better see how he works in his business. And I have made a rough outline of my pitch, which I'm going to kind of study, not really study because I want it to be natural. I don't want it to be, like forced. So I'll be a little relaxed during the meeting because it's my second one. And that's basically what has been going on until this point. The other thing I want to mention now, and what my takeaways are from this whole experience that of course is still in the very beginning, is the experience part of it. I had so many fears and doubts and anxieties, I guess you could call it, when I got into all this outreach stuff. And I have to say, I really believe I have leveled up, not in the business aspect, but as an actual person. Like my speech skills in Greek, they are a lot better than they are in English, obviously. So I actually had the opportunity of seeing that in person and having to force, quote unquote, myself to exceed that kind of stress that I was feeling around people that I didn't really know, and I needed to convince of something that I was offering. It was quite a tricky experience, although I can say that life can never be the same again. I can't really explain why that statement is so powerful, but I really hope you can wrap your mind around it. I have just broken a barrier in my mind that I know I can talk to other businesses with a skill that I have practiced and profit out of it. That literally breaks every traditional idea that I've had on my mind or that I have been indoctrinated with from ever. Like, you can sit on your computer, just Google certain skills or services that you could offer, you could practice them, you could learn to market them, you could learn marketing and sales respectively, right? And then you could find clients locally, not even internationally, and convince them that they should pay you to give them that service that you didn't pay anything for. Isn't that amazing? What kind of world we are living in, that you don't actually need a degree from a university or any kind of institution to profit and make a living? Isn't that remarkable? I find it remarkable, at least, because like 3 years ago I thought that if I didn't have a degree I wouldn't be anything in life, which is basically what is being pushed by every single person in our society these days. And that's basically it. That's the whole thing I've been through for the past month. And if you can take anything from this video, again, is try it. Anything you have in your mind, a business idea, a new hobby you want to take up, a trip you want to take somewhere because you think it will open your mind and whatever. You have your own reasons. It may be risky, and risk varies from person to person and from situation to situation, right? But just try it, and don't let your mistakes dictate who you are. Rather, let them teach you who you need to become to not make them again. That sounded a lot more complicated than it should have, but the reality is that the past and the experience and actually doing it is the best teacher of all. That's the whole point. I am going to continue working because I haven't stopped today. I've been doing something all day, be it posting, interacting with people on socials, editing, obviously studying marketing, sales, all of that. And I'm just being super laser focused because I need and I want to make it work. That's all. And you should really be focused if you want anything to work. That's what I have seen. Thank you very much for watching once again. I hope you found this video helpful or insightful in some way, or entertaining even. And I'll see you on the next one. See ya.